Stephen Hawking, the brilliant British theoretical physicist. Today, the world considers him to be the legitimate heir to Einstein's brilliant genius, which amazed the world. Stephen Hawking, a theoretical physicist, was born in the English city of Oxford on April 8, 1942. Surprisingly, this day was the 300th anniversary of the death of the great astronomer, Galileo Galilei. Hawking has theoretical research in cosmology and research on the relationship between black holes and thermodynamics, and he also has studies on time series. It also made complex physics concepts more flexible to be easy to understand for everyone. His academic level was between average and bad when he was young, but he was very interested in knowing how things work, so he often dismantled watches and radios until he was called Einstein by his schoolmates, despite his low grades in high school. His father wanted him to study medicine, but he was not convinced of that and preferred to study physics, as he got almost perfect marks in physics. At the age of 17, after 3 years, he felt that he was stumbling a lot, as he was falling to the ground without a logical reason, and from here, his journey began to challenge disease and creativity. At the age of 21, he contracted a neurological disease called lateral sclerosis, which made him incapacitated and unable to move, and the doctors stated that it was a very serious disease and that he would not live for more than 2 years. But he defied the disease and lived for 76 years, and this amazed the doctors for many years. His suffering with the disease did not end with his being incapacitated only. In 1985, he contracted pneumonia and had to undergo surgery to slit his throat, after which he lost the ability to speak completely until an American engineer developed a complex computer system through which he was able to communicate by writing the required words on the computer screen. Then another expert developed a more sophisticated program attached to the wheelchair that gives him an artificial voice. Although Hawking was initially depressed over his diagnosis, he decided that there were things he wanted to accomplish with his life. He began to study and work harder than ever before. He wanted to earn his PhD before he died. Around the same time, he met and fell in love with a girl named Jane Wilde. Between his work and Jane, Hawking had a reason to live. Despite the initial grim diagnosis from his doctors, Hawking lived a full and productive life with the help of science and modern medicine. Hawking worked with his collaborator James Hartle in developing the theory of the infinite universe, which changed the old perception at the moment of the Big Bang about the origin of the universe. In addition to not contradicting the fact that the universe is a regular system, Hawking says that there are 100 billion galaxies in the universe, and each one contains hundreds of millions of stars. It is unlikely that Earth is the only place where life has evolved, which makes it logical to think of aliens living in this universe. The most strange thing is that Hawking warned scientists that contact with aliens may cause disaster for the human race, describing that if aliens visited us, I think the result would be close to the discovery of Latin America by Europeans, a discovery that later turned into annihilation of the Amerindians. In 2007, he experimented with zero gravity, and Stephen Hawking was then away from his chair for the first time in 4 decades. This experiment was done by a modified Boeing plane flying at an altitude of 32,000 feet at an acute angle, and then descending to a height of 8,000 feet so that he could experience zero gravity for a period of time, 25 seconds. He has a book called A Brief History in Time that simplifies complex concepts in physics, from Aristotle to Steven Weinberg. This book entered the Guinness Book of Records in terms of being the widest spread and has been translated so far into more than 40 languages and turned into a movie in 1991. He has since written many more books, including A Briefer History in Time, On the Shoulders of Giants, and The Universe in a Nutshell. We may agree or disagree with Hawking in some opinions or theories, but that does not prevent us from learning about the views of the great scientist regarding science, astronomy, and physics, and also learning from him the will and not despair in the face of difficulties and suffering. Stephen Hawking says in one of his quotes, "Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet." And he also said, "Black holes ain't as black as they are painted. They are not the eternal prisons they were once thought. Things can get out of a black hole both on the outside and possibly to another universe. So if you feel you are in a black hole, don't give up. There's a way out." Stephen Hawking passed away aged 76. His final words came in the form of a book that was completed by his family after his death. Brief Answers to the Big Questions. It includes answers to the questions that Hawking received most during his time on Earth. His final words in the book were, "There is no God. No one directs the universe. One of Hawkins' final acts of kindness was paying for a grand Easter meal for hundreds of homeless people in his home city of Cambridge. On the same day as his funeral, a donation from his family helped fund the charity food cycle's Easter lunch at Wesley Methodist Church. On all the tables, a note was left reading, "Today's lunch is a gift from Stephen, from the Hawking family."